human beings have used the metaphor of the waters and the seas for a long time. If things are going well, you talk about it being smooth sailing, right? But if things are difficult and confusing and the outlook isn't good, you can talk about being lost at sea or feeling like you're being tossed about on the waves. And the seas have functioned that way for millennia, right? In Scripture, that's one of the themes, is that the sea is a scary place, and it shows up in Bible stories. You might not even realize it, but when Israel is leaving Egypt, one of the barriers to them escaping is the Red Sea, and they are hemmed in and locked in by the sea until God parts that sea. You remember Jonah is on a ship as he's trying to run away from God, and in trying to run away from God, he runs right into the sea with the darkness and the chaos and the storms, and is eventually tossed overboard and swallowed by a sea monster. And the scariness and the unknown of what lurks beneath the sea is kind of all bound up in there. The disciples tap into that in the Gospels as the waters on the Sea of Galilee are out of control for them, and they think that they're going to die. And even in Revelation, the beast comes out of the sea. It's a theme of being uncontrollable and perhaps even evil, and certainly scary. But one of the remarkable things about the throne room of God in the book of Revelation, chapter 4, is that there before the throne of God, it says that there's what looks like a sea, but it's a sea of glass, clear as crystal, perhaps like the bowl that's sitting next to me. A sea of glass, so it's smooth. The waves aren't tricking anyone, and you don't have to worry about or wonder what's beneath it. It is clear as crystal, because before the throne of God, everything is still. God is in control. And so it's important for us to remember, because sometimes the seas seem scary in life. Sometimes we do feel like we are tossed about, and the unknown can be intimidating. And certainly we go through stretches where we feel like we have very little control. And that's why it's such a comfort to know that there's one who sits on the throne, and before him the sea is smooth like glass and clear as crystal, and it doesn't pose a threat. You know, at the end of Revelation, it talks about water before the throne, but this time it's no longer a sea. The water is the rivers of life, like crystal again, but flowing out to sustain and to nourish, and it gives waters to the tree of life, and the trees to bring healing to the nations. And the waters are what they were always meant to be, a gift to human beings. And so as we look ahead at what perhaps looks scary to us, what is for sure out of our control, we can remember that the one who sits on the throne still is in charge, and before him the sea is smooth and clear, and he takes what looks like a sea and turns it into a river that is a gift to the human beings that he loves.